Greetings, salutations, and welcome to After Action. I'm your host, Patrick Kreeger, and I'm joined once again by
Steve.
Austin.
No, I'm not stone cold. I'm very warm and cuddly.
Anyway,
No,
so
I'm not. I'll slay anyone.
we are continuing.
Cold-blooded killer.
We are continuing our Christmas Prince trilogy. And again, since it was your film, why don't you read the back of the box?
Oh, I absolutely. So we watched. This is the third movie, in case you're just tuning in. Christmas Prince 3, The Royal Baby. There's no actual 3 in the title, but I'm putting it there because it deserves to be. So let me give you the quick little synopsis here. It's Christmas time in Aldovia, and a royal baby is on the way. Amber and Richard host royals from a distant kingdom to renew a sacred truce, but when the treaty vanishes, peace is jeopardized and an ancient curse threatens their family. Boom.
And so, watch or don't watch?
Well, let me just say this. It's a great addition to the franchise. We watch these for the escape and comfort. The third in the series delivers on all counts. Threats of war and supernatural are all wrapped up in a mystery even Holmes would struggle to solve. Only the journalist Princess Amber is up to the task. Great set pieces, a winter wonderland, beautiful people, and new characters populate this film, all providing the low-stakes drama we crave this time of year. Netflix, if you're listening, please give us 10 more years of Amber and Richard. What I'm trying to say is, it's a must in the Christmas Prince series. There is no reason not to watch all of these, and to do it as soon as possible.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. I would argue that if you want Christmas time fun, these 3 films are definitely worth watching.
Absolutely.
I would argue that this is the best in the series.
Well, I kind of disagree with you and I kind of don't, because it's not as well structured as the first one,
True.
but it is more interesting overall.
And it is better structured than the second one.
It is better structured than the second one. The second one, I think, is the weakest, as far as that goes.
But I do want to make this clear before we get into spoilers that you definitely should watch them in order.
Yes, do not try to skip around. You're just going to be confused by the things they're talking about. There's lots of callbacks to the other movies in the previous, both in 2 and in this one, 3 callbacks to all of it. It's just, you need to watch them all in order.
And they're worth it. Like we said, they're all good. They're all fun.
If you're the kind of person who curls up by a fire to watch a Hallmark Channel movie, you're going to be in heaven. Christmas time heaven.
Indeed. We described them as like slightly spicier than Hallmark, like a little bit better made, a little bit,
slightly.
a little bit more edgy.
I think they're just a one notch above. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe half a notch. It's just,
you kind of know what you're getting yourself in for.
you're not going to be, well, kind of. I'm going to say this one and the second one have, like, their plot points are so, like, weird in some places that I don't think you're going to be expecting it. We didn't expect there to be a mass, general strike in the second Princess Prince movie, and it was there. It happened.
I unfortunately did expect it because I'd already seen Jenny Nicholson's review.
Okay, well, that's not what I mean, though.
I know. Yeah.
You wouldn't have, if you weren't spoiled, you would not have seen that coming.
Not at all.
Exactly.
Okay, well, we did see basically all the plot points of this film coming. It was still shocking that they actually went that way.
Yeah, it was more of a joke. We were doing some shot calling, and then some of it happened. And
a lot of it happened.
Most of it happened, yeah. Most of it. There was a few that we were a little off, and, But, I mean, we were engrossed in the mystery, and I think that's what matters. But let's get into the legal sauce.
The legal sauce?
That's what Judge Gino says at the start of Personal Injury Court.
Oh.
On Channel 12.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway, let's get into it, though. First off, big props to the start of this movie, because it does not open with stock footage of New York. Both the other ones do. This one, finally, we just get a nice Christmas montage of the castle, all decorated up, decorated better than any of the other ones as well. Lots of decor.
I really do feel like this film puts a little bit more effort into things. While there may have been more creative cinematography in the previous films, I would argue that's true.
Probably two.
I think that it was a little bit better shot than the second film in the sense of the actual fidelity of the image. The first one was still better, I think.
Yeah, I maybe a little bit, but they did some new stuff with this one. They had some really great push-up dolly shots. They had, well, it wasn't great, but I still loved it. In the very beginning, the green screen honeymoon.
Oh, man.
That was awesome. It was great. You don't need, hey, newlyweds, you don't need to go on a fun vacation to somewhere or whatever. Just go in front of a green screen. It's going to be awesome. You're going to love it. You'll have a good time. It can be whatever you want it to be. Go to a tropical beach. Go to Midtown Detroit. Whatever you want.
It was really jarring, and you expect because they went through the hassle of green screening it that they might have done a few green screen shots, but no. They only went to Hawaii.
They did one beach on Hawaii, one take. That was it. They've one and done. You know, good stuff though overall.
So after we see what they've been up to in this previous year.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things that they lead off with is that it starts with Amber giving a...
She's doing her blog and stuff because, you know, she's now able to do that more since after the conclusion of the second one. And, of course, we get the shot that she is preggers. Big preggers. I think they said her due date was in January, and it's like Christmas time, so, you know, she's about 8 months in, roughly. Somewhat, it doesn't matter. It was January, but what's what matters? So she's like 8 months in. And the modernization efforts of Aldovia have been going great, including
absolutely exceedingly well.
We'll talk a little bit about that in a second because we get some info, but they've also modernized the succession laws, so now women can inherit the throne of Aldovia, and that's all, you know, very important and modern. Yay!
And apparently, it's now become a co-monarchy.
What?
So they talk about this throughout the film that she has almost as much, if not as much power.
I don't think they were meaning that in the sense of like legal power. I think they just mean she's very influential over the kingdom. I don't think that's they meant.
Then, so why is she signing documents on the behalf of the nation?
Yeah, well, in that particular instance, I mean, I think it was more of a for show type thing. Which I mean, well, I guess it wasn't entirely for show, that treaty, because it was like binding, I guess, apparently. It's very odd. But we'll get into that main plot in a second. But the important part here that the treaty comes in is because we get some lore drop, finally.
Oh my gosh.
And we need to talk about that lore, because it'll set the stage for the rest of the events to come. So we need to get into that now.
Well, I want to do a callback to some previous lore.
Well, sure, of course, yeah. Let's lay it out.
So, just one little thing. We kind of made some jokes last time about...
I'm still not convinced it was a joke. I think that was true.
We made some inferences that this might be Rhodesia too. Mm-hmm. I am now actually convinced that the art design really did rip off the Rhodesian flag. I will post one here. And then this is the Aldovian flag. And you will note not only are they green and white, which, you know, was what easily tipped me off, but the fact that the Aldovian flag has those two lions rearing at each other and the shield and the... You notice that the crests are actually quite similar. Mm-hmm. And I've shown this to a few people, and most people do think it's a complete ripoff.
Yeah, it is.
So, anyway, I just wanted to put that across.
Yeah, so that was our previous lore. If you please watch the other, videos, or listen rather to the other podcast episodes, and you'll get more of that what we're talking about. But point is, Rhodesian exiles created this kingdom. That was what we were going with. Mm-hmm. And while I still think that's true, I'm fascinated by this fake history they constructed to teach Amber and indoctrinate their country that they've taken over into their absurd false history, which I have to assume leaks nowhere outside of these borders, and they just keep everyone in ignorance, like a 1984 style situation.
Yeah, we finally see a map of Aldovia?
We do, and that's what's crazy. Well, I think it was supposed to be Aldovia in 1419, not currently. So we get a map, and the map, Aldovia's apparently borders as of 1419, very specific, encompassed, looked like all of Hungary, parts of Austria, parts of Romania, all the way down to Serbia. It was a Balkan power. And its arch rival, weirdly enough, was a Mongolian offshoot Asiatic horde nation called Panglia, which took over apparently most of the Caucasus region, and they were arch nemeses, despite them not actually sharing a border.
They touched on either side
of the sea, but it's not quite the same thing.
Yeah, not really.
They didn't. Yeah, they were not actually. Yeah, they didn't have a land border. That's my point. So it's very odd that they were the chief rivals, but fine, they were. And I guess that way no Moldovan citizen could take a truck ride or something outside just at the border and be like, hey, is this Mongolia? Like, no, this is the Republic of Austria. Been here hundreds of years. Who the hell are you? What are you doing?
It is rather interesting. So we basically determined now that the Christmas Prince movies do take place in an alternate universe.
I'm not convinced it's alternate. I think it's just a 1984 situation in Rhodesia too.
That they're actively.
That's what. If you want to believe, that it's an alternate universe, you can go for it. My truth is that it's 1984, and Christmas Prince is a joyous celebration of a hellscape.
Fair enough, and I love that they have a Christmas market, like one. I don't know why I needed to say that at this particular moment, but I needed to.
Well, it's because it's a very small micronation, so they only got the one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And what did they even do? What did they have there? Oh, that's right. They had the popcorn.
Ice skating.
There was the ice skating ring. I was going to say that.
Archery.
Yeah, there was the archery, which happened to, I guess, be right next to it. It's very odd how this town square is. The geography of it is a little baffling, but I guess maybe they have to try to compact everything because they're such a small hell country.
Why do you keep calling it a hell country?
Because it's 1984. I mean, obviously, it's not like the starvation or the mass repression, but the indoctrination by the Moldovan Ministry of Truth is strong and creepy, and it's actually even worse because I think the Moldovan monarchy buys into it. I think they actually believe their fake history, so it's really hard. It's getting really hard to break them out of it.
They do have their own news network.
They do, and notice that we only see 3 people from Panglia, and we get plants. Whoever's running that show, I don't think any of that's real. But anyway, that lore aside, let's get into one of the kind of two. I guess there was a B plot. There's like an A plot and a B plot, kinda, but they intermingle, much like 2. They're kind of intermingled. I guess they're really. Well, let's break it down. I guess let's go with the main one first.
So let's first talk about the document.
Oh, yeah, I guess we should clarify because it would make a little more sense of how this goes down. So, do you want to describe how it looks?
Yeah, so they have this wooden chest, and in this wooden chest they have the original, because apparently they only made one copy of it, which is really weird.
Yeah, and I guess, okay, so, we should clarify why they're signing this treaty that's hundreds of years old.
On Christmas Eve.
On Christmas Eve in 1419, they signed a treaty of peace and friendship. And now every 100 years, the monarchs of that era re-sign it to reaffirm the same thing, etc. And this goes on every 100 years. And then they pass the document back and forth.
Indeed. And they just kind of tack onto it. And that's actually important for a point I want to make later. That they have the original document, and then 100 years later they tack on, and it seems to be physically tied or tacked. And then another 100 years, a new document, and this happens, so on and so forth. And again, they only made one copy. That's really critical. Do note that there are multiple copies of the Declaration of Independence. There are multiple copies of our U.S. Constitution. There are multiple copies of the Magna Carta.
Yes. Because you needed to spread this message out, so you'd send it out with copies. You wouldn't just have the one. It would be silly. But not so here in Moldavia and Panglia.
Oh, and one key aspect of this is that the actual physical document itself changes hands every 100 years.
I did mention that. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. He's busting out the knife again. I upset him. He's going to have to threaten me to keep me in the seat.
Sorry, sometimes I get distracted.
Yeah, he's fiddling with the knife.
Again,
it distracts him.
You know, it's funny. I want to say this. This is like the third time that I haven't had the knife.
Well, I mean, I guess you're not physically holding it. You just set it in front of you in a threatening manner. So, I mean, I guess you technically don't have the knife if you want to be pedantic about it, but the threat is clear.
Anyway, so the point is that they have this actual physical artifact that is the document.
Yes. So they have to sign the new thing that they make for it.
And they have to sign it by...
I guess on vellum? I don't know.
Yeah. Probably not, because they're modernizing it.
Right.
This is a key aspect of the film that I did not particularly appreciate. This constant pushing for modernization, and then at the same time also not. You know, for example, we're coming into the new world. We're a modern nation. We're going to have equal lines of succession between male and female. But then also not even questioning the concept of a complete and total monarchy.
Yeah, they don't do that. Well, they don't say maybe we should draft just a new treaty instead that's more up-to-date than trying to graft onto this medieval one, which is very strange. And there's a whole bizarre thing where they're like, well, if the treaty doesn't get signed, then it's going to be war again between... Which, why? Doesn't mean there's war. No one said that the treaty stipulates that if the treaty isn't signed, then it's automatic war. No one said that.
Yes, they actually did.
Did they?
Yeah.
Well, cut out my entire rant just now.
No, I'll leave it in. So
I hate you. I didn't write that down anywhere.
Yeah, there's a point where
I was probably making a joke at the time.
The king and queen of Panglia are walking through the snow, and she says, if the document's not signed, then we're going to be in a state of war with them.
I know that they said that.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone mentioned that that's in the document.
Oh, like physically?
Yeah, like that's what I mean. It's not a provision in the treaty.
Maybe. Because, so apparently it's not actual peace treaty, it's an armistice treaty, I guess.
That would, yeah, it's really an armistice treaty, honestly, but no one says that. They say peace treaty, which would indicate that the peace is it's happening. You can't just take it away unless you have another declaration of war.
And they're arguing that the next war would be one of lawyers.
Yeah, which I also don't understand what that's supposed to mean. What are they arguing about?
Trade.
Well, they're gonna have to do that anyway. They were hammering out details of trade. That's a thing in the movie.
I know.
Oh my god, it's so baffling. Okay. We've established. Okay, they have to sign the treaty thing. All right, let's get that out of the way. B plot is Amber's pregnancy and the struggles with that.
It is remarkable that the royal baby is the B plot.
I mean, effectively. But the thing is, they're all kind of intermingled, so it's... Yeah. Except for the C plot, which I'll get to in a second. But the B and the A plot, they're intermingled, so it's more of like a A-B plot than A and a B plot, per se.
It's a very finely crafted film.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's just beautiful. Aaron Sorkin couldn't have wrote a more tight script than Christmas Prince 3, The Royal Baby. Anyway, so that's the whole thing. Now, most of that arc is really just kind of filler for, like, cute moments and some funny banter and stuff between her and the prince that are supposed to make your heart all warm and fuzzy. Just makes me want to puke, but whatever. Doesn't matter. I've been over my cynicism in the last episode. Would you have anything to say about that plot, Patrick, or are you just going to stare at me?
I was just staring at you because I thought it was really sweet.
Yeah, see, I knew you felt that way because that's how you are.
I thought a couple of the scenes were a little unnecessary.
Kind of padding the runtime a bit. I had to get it to 90 minutes.
But I like that there was no, what do you call it? Tension.
Yeah.
Between the king and queen. I like that they were...
That's true. That relationship is consistent.
Yeah, they were a united force this whole film.
Yeah, that is true. That is good. Though, I comment on Amber for a second since we're on here. the way she treats the like tradition and the whole modernization thing is it's like it's just whatever she likes.
Yeah.
She's going to hold on the tradition she likes, and she's going to throw in the modernization where she thinks it belongs, but without any real coherency in the position. It's all aesthetic.
And not consulting with anyone else, particularly her husband.
Exactly, who just kind of doormats himself throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, he does, but I don't know. They again presented a united front throughout the film.
True, I'm not saying I'm not. Yeah, it was just a little. I don't know. It's fine, I guess. It's not that bad. It's not as bad as in 2, where the prince. Well, actually, he was king. He's king now. I keep saying because of the name, but he's King Dick. He just kind of let
can we get through an entire
everybody review? No, everybody. He just walked all over him in the second movie. Now he actually stands up for himself for the most part, which is good. Then there's kind of a C plot. It is tied in with A plot a little bit.
I was gonna say, when you mentioned A versus B plot, I really thought about it, and everything is interly woven.
Yes, everything is connected in some way. Just some of it feels more like a grafted on extra limb than like a real weaving of the flesh together into some unholy abomination. That's the analogy I made, and I'm sticking with it. So
I only felt like there was one truly unnecessary component.
I think I know what you're going to say, and I think I agree with you, but I'll let you say it when we get there. But the Simon / Melissa, was her name right? Melissa? Yeah. Melissa plot. Melissa, the sassy black friend from the other 2 movies, and at the end of the second movie, her and Simon kind of became a thing. Well, that's continued, and that's in this whole movie thing is their relationship, but it's a little turbulent because there's another woman who enters the picture, not in a romantic way, but
it's implied that
it's kind of a romantic way. The attaché of the Pangolian king and queen who have arrived to sign the treaty, Lynn, is an old schoolmate buddy of Simon, and he's all chatting her up, and it's just great. And there is actually a fantastic frame shot of him like leaning in real close and like laughing with Lynn, and his girlfriend is just standing just far enough away that it's like awkward and weird, and like rolling her eyes and kind of giving him a dirty look and drinking champagne. It is quite good, actually. I enjoyed that.
This film is very well crafted for fans of the Christmas Prince series. I mean, that series...
It's so true.
It is directly targeted at us. Like, I really hate to say it, but...
No, it's true. It's true. It's just... How someone like reached into our brains and just pulled out everything that they knew we'd want to see and wrote it on the page. I don't know how they did it. It was some kind of sorcery or NSA program that we're not aware of, but they did it. They nailed it. They knew their audience perfectly.
I think you even made it so one of the things, at least I really wanted from this film was more lore. And we got that.
Yep.
And then one of the things you mentioned is that you wanted a murder mystery.
Yes. Now, there was no murder, but it had the structure of a mystery because it's very crucial in the A plot and partly crucial in the C plot too here. When they were getting ready to do the ceremony to sign the treaties, in the middle of the night, someone stole the treaty scroll. So they don't have it. They can't sign it. Oh no. What are we going to do? But there's also a blizzard outside, so no one is actually physically able to leave.
Except for when they want to.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Then it becomes a little muddy. But the setup, no one can leave, so the thief's still there, and they've hidden the scroll somewhere. Oh my gosh, where everyone's a suspect. Well, I mean, audience knows the king and queen really didn't do it. But, everyone else could potentially be a suspect. So now we got to figure out who did it. It has the mystery set up. It has everything you can want in there. It gets a little loosey-goosey on the rules of, like, can anyone leave or whatever, because inexplicably there's no guards anymore. There was household guards in the other 2 movies of guys standing around in uniformed pikes, and they're just not there here. And I don't know why. I don't know what happened there. for whatever reason, they weren't
modernization.
I still have guards.
Remember, they went from the pikes to the wooden sticks to no guards in the 3 films.
Yeah, you'd still, just for safety's sake, you'd have at least on some kind of, even if they're not sitting there in their uniform pike, they'd have some kind of armed guard somewhere.
They don't believe in royal palace. Only the prince is allowed to have a pistol.
I guess. So they're stuck in the mansion. They've stolen it because of Simon, like, chatting it up with Lynn and these kind of glances they're given, and occasionally darting off to have these like secret discussions. Melissa, who's already jealous, so she's in an emotional state, believes that Simon is plotting with Lynn after they stole the documents. So that's where it ties into a plot.
And it's really interesting because the way they frame it, you totally do believe that the attaché has stolen it.
Absolutely.
But whether or not Simon is complicit is kind of up in the air.
It is. I didn't believe that he was. It didn't sell me on that because I'm just thinking about his redemption arc in 2, and I'm like, they're not going to take that away. And because he's totally going to have to marry Melissa, because they're not going to let a sad thing like that happen at the end of their Christmas movie. It's just not going to happen. So I didn't buy that part. But I did think that Lynn had taken the stuff for like at least most of the movie.
Yeah, you did figure it out well before the movie tipped
the final reveal.
But
yeah, who the culprit was. So, stolen. Simon's a suspect. Weird, shady stuff going on with Lynn. They do drop a little bit of lore here too. Apparently, that Aldovia owes 1 billion euro to the kingdom of Penglia.
Yeah.
That name just sounds so weird.
It keeps making me think Penguini.
Sure, I keep wanting to say Pengalia, but that's not now. Penglia. Oh, 1 billion. And it was exact too. It was like a perfect round number. And the king goes like, yes, well, last year we owed 5 billion, but thanks to the modernization. That's an insane amount of money for a country that's like one town and a castle and an airport. Like, so I looked it up. Liechtenstein's like budget, which is a good comparison, and still a larger country with more stuff going on than anything in Aldovia, 1.3 billion. So somehow Aldovia was able to pay off 4 billion in debt to Peglia, and we don't know about other debt. There's probably other debt. In 1 year, something shady is going on, and personally, I think they're smuggling blood diamonds in asbestos to sell on the black market and make that illegal dollar. And I say blood diamonds because Rhodesia is an African country, and obviously both blood diamonds come from Africa. And second, asbestos because that was the main export from Rhodesia when it was its own country.
Indeed.
Anyway, that's my theory.
I hate to say it, but it does seem credible. Because the only things we've ever seen these... God, it's really hard for me to not just call them Rhodesians.
Just do it.
The only thing we've not seen these Rhodesians... Or the only things that we've seen these Rhodesians do is work for themselves. Okay? So, they operate restaurants for themselves. They operate fairs for themselves. They build roads for themselves. What is the export of Aldovia?
I don't know. They seem to run an autarkic, self-sufficient economy. With maybe one exception, that's the airport.
Yeah, but they need people to come in.
Of course.
People can't leave.
Apparently not. I don't know. It's a strange system.
They don't make bagels.
They don't make bagels. You're right. So, that's... I don't want to call this a D-plot because it's not. It's just something they wanted to hold over from the second movie. So they have the dad actor, Amber's dad, from the second movie. He's there again.
Yes, and it's definitely the same actor as previous, but still not the same actor.
No, it's not. No, it's one from 2. This sounds funny. 1 from 2. It's that actor. He has like he's like 3 scenes really. He's got one scene where he's talking to them on Skype, and he's like, No, before that. Yeah, he's one before that where he's like, "Oh, hey, I'm from New York. Yeah, what up? Want to fight about it? Hey, I'm walking here." Like that kind
what
of.
What are you gonna name the baby?
Yeah, that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing they have throughout the movie. Like, what are you gonna name baby? Oh, we're not telling anyone. We're just so modern, and we just gender reveal party over here is gonna bankrupt the whole country because we're gonna blow up a mountain or something. Because like that's I don't know. That's basically what's happening. As what happened. So he's asking about the name thing. Yeah, okay. We established that in a press conference earlier, which we kind of skimmed over because it's not important. But there's a press conference. Who cares? And then we see him a second time where he's at an airport and he's like, can't fly in because they're saying there's a blizzard, and they're like, oh yeah, that storm's coming in, it's gonna wreck our gender reveal party. And he's like, well, sorry about that, I'll be there when I can. And she's like, hey, can you bring bagels because pregnancy craving. Oh, I need the bagels. And he's like, I'll get you some New York bagels. Hey, pasta la pista. And then they're like, all right, cool. So, yeah, and that's it. And once, as usual, amazing video quality coming from this phone call. That airport Wi-Fi in New York,
superb,
impeccable. He had a hard line into his phone, fiber optic like cable. It was incredible. So there is a whole thing. Well, you know what? I'll still leave that as the setup. He says, I'll be there with bagels.
I know this pains you.
I was convinced and almost correct, but they actually didn't do it. But I'm like, oh no, because of how the time was passing in the movie. I'm like, the final scene of this movie is going to be him walking in being like, hey, I brought the bagels, eh? And I was so mad when I thought of this concept. I was so angry.
He literally doubled over.
Because I hate that character so much from the second movie and then this one on, even though he's not there as much.
Whoa.
What?
He wasn't still attached to the lady cook.
No, they just dropped that. They couldn't get that actress back. They had, they got divorced between that thing. Or she died. She died also, like the other mom, because he's actually poisoning them with his diner food. His disgusting diner food. Either way, I was so mad having this thought in my brain. They actually didn't do that, and I was relieved.
He did physically bring the bagels, though.
He did. You could actually see him, but they didn't call attention to it. It was just kind of a subtle little nod there. And I appreciate that.
See? This film was made specifically for us.
Yes. Yes, you're right. It was. That movie was being made as we watched it. They were just downloading the images directly from our brain. That's going to be the Netflix future model. You just hook a helmet to your head and it plays whatever movie you want to see. And that's just it. But right now we were the guinea pigs, and they showed it. They said, "Hey, you hit this thing that says Christmas Prince 3: The Royal Baby," and it just downloads our contents of our subconscious.
It was really remarkable.
Yeah. Anyway. But we need to move on to the plot. We need to move on with the plot. Oh yes, I actually also wrote this down because this is also not a real plot point, and only barely worth mentioning. But Sahil from the second movie and the Amber's gay friend from the other two movies show up. Kind of. They're there and they're like present, but they don't have any big role, and they're just kind of annoying. But I did write Sahil and gay friend - I'm so angry because I can't stand either of those characters. I can't stand Sahil because his character is irritating, and I don't like the gay best friend because I think that actor is really bad and does a bad job at his role.
So two things I want to say. I do agree with you. I think that was the only part of the movie that technically could have been cut out. Mm-hmm. I actually think everything else really is intricately.
It is completely superfluous, and it exists to get it to 90 minutes.
But what I wanted to bring up as part of this is one of the things I called when Amber's lady friend shows up. When she showed up alone, I'm like, hey, your favorite character's coming back.
You did call that, and I didn't believe you, and you were right, and I was angry. So, good on you.
But I will say this, his character improved dramatically from the last film.
It's true.
He was tolerable.
Shot call here that we got wrong. You said that baby monitor is going to come into a plot point later, and I thought you were right, but then it did not come into play, and I feel like maybe that was in a different draft of the script.
Yeah, and it just got left in somehow.
And that scene got left in, but they didn't actually use its payoff.
Because I was expecting that to come in with a Simon
I wonder
plot.
if that was like originally what the Simon thing was going to be, but instead they just had the jealousy plot with Melissa following them up. I don't know. I wasn't there for the job. I wasn't at the script meeting, so I can't say for sure.
If you worked on the Christmas Prince 3,
let us know, please. Leave a comment below. Send me an email. Anything, please.
We actually legitimately are curious about the behind the scenes.
Hit me up on Twitter at Comrade Snake. Please.
Enough.
If the writer, I think his name was Nate something. I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me, Nate. If you hear this, please let me know, because I'm very intrigued by how the writing process for this went.
You're welcome on the show.
That would be awesome if Patrick could get you on the show. Let's see. Oh yeah, this was my shot call of Lynn is the thief, which, spoilers, turns out she wasn't.
But they definitely set it up in a way that it was believable she could be.
Yeah, I had called that actually before they were even really setting it up. I was after the theft scene, and then they had them come in like this. The attaché totally stole it.
No, you even called it beforehand. You literally called it as she entered the room.
Well, yeah,
or as someone.
Yes, that's true. As when they showed the cloaked figure entering the room to steal it, I was like, it's the assistant. I was wrong. But it just seemed like it would make the most sense in the context. But when more stuff came out, when they dropped the next clue, is when
you did eventually call the right one.
Yeah, because it took another clue. So mystery effectively set up.
We did call another one.
It might be down below, but which one are you thinking of?
The dungeon.
Yes.
That we would actually get to see the dungeon.
That I think we called in the last episode, right? We said the next movie we're going to see the dungeon.
Yeah. And actually, do let us know if we did. Actually, I'll know.
You'll know by then because you'll have to edit them. But yeah, that would be pretty cool. We did talk a lot about what we think how the series is going to progress at the end of 2, because we were very excited for this one, and it paid off. Let's see. Oh yeah, so then they explain whether the princess, the sister character. I don't remember what her name is.
Oh yeah,
the cripple.
Yeah, I'm unfamiliar with what her name is.
I don't remember either. It's probably in my notes for one, but I'm not going to look through all that. She explains that part of the thing on the treaty, and is in ancient books, is that there is a curse. And this is nuts. So it's apparently in the treaty, I guess?
No, it's
in a book. Oh, it was in the history book
about
yes, okay, you're right. It was in a history book about the treaty. So a witch put a curse on Moldovan royal family.
No, it's actually on either.
Was it either?
They talk about that. Whoever breaks the treaty.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, all right, fair enough. So the curse is whoever breaks the treaty, which in this case would fall under Moldovan hands, that their firstborn would be cursed, which is crazy. That's some biblical stuff going on here. And this is I guess it was some swamp witch or something. I don't know. I don't know what was going on here.
There's a drawing of her.
Balkans, yeah, there was a drawing of her. Some Balkans babe witch put this horrible curse on Rhodesia. And, well, not really. Because this is all fake history that they made up. But put this curse, so they'd have to sign this treaty. Very well-constructed fantasy in this horrible nightmare universe that Rhodesia 2 has set up.
It would explain why all their historic artifacts look like cheap props.
It totally does. That fits in perfectly. Oh my gosh. This is an incredible find. We are struck gold. And I didn't think about that. We were so busy chasing gold. Like, not even just us, but the people making these movies. They were chasing gold and didn't realize they were stepping on diamonds. Because there is so much lore here that they could add for 4. Oh my gosh. Anyway. What did I put? What else did I put? Oh yeah. Then this is a throwaway scene with Sahil. But apparently him and the gay friend, who also, I don't know his name. Their business is worth multi-millions of dollars, but Amber didn't know about it despite them still being his friend and supposedly in contact. I don't know. It's bizarre. You'd think they'd have a higher name, especially since Sahil was already famous. It's a little bit of a plot hole.
And apparently he's
You know what? It's a major plot hole, and I'm upset about it.
Apparently he even tones things down, and he now does, like, house designing and stuff like that.
Yeah, interior decorating, that kind of deal. Yeah.
Anyway.
There was a brief United Airlines plug. I believe that was in the scene with their dad.
So let's talk real quick here about product placement.
Oh, yes, sure. You noticed a lot more than I did.
Well, there wasn't really that much in this film. That's why I'm kind of shocked.
Still, go on.
Well, so the cars this time, the entourage of the Pinguini, is a BMW Land Rover, a Mercedes, and another BMW?
Yeah, it was a BMW at the end. Yeah, that's strange. Usually it's all one fleet. Yeah, and it wasn't the other two movies.
Yeah, it was. It was distinctly BMW in the last film and distinctly Mercedes in the film before that. And this time it wasn't. And then
just whatever the actors had, just their own cars.
My bet, by the way, is that United Continental didn't pay to be in this film. Mm-hmm. And so that's why they had that background shot. They might have had the rights to use that background shot, but they didn't get paid, and so they didn't bother to make a big deal.
Yeah, that could make sense.
And also, I noticed that this time they didn't take the Apple thing as seriously. A lot of times the logo is mildly obscured. It's not center frame.
I think it was only really clear and at least close to center frame like twice.
Yeah, there's like you can see her computer from the back.
Yeah.
You don't ever really see her phone, and then
phone's much less prominent.
You do see
if they're there at all.
Yeah, I can't even think of a scene. And then there's the MacBook Pro logo.
You can't think of a single scene at all after we just watched that movie.
With the phone in it.
Oh, okay.
But it does have MacBook Pro dead center at the bottom of the screen whenever they're looking at the Skype calls.
That's true. Fair enough.
I didn't notice any other, product placement. It's not hey, let's use Waze or
yeah, nothing like that. Let's see. Then next scenes there. Oh, there's the baby shower, which was cutesy scene filler. I wrote scene for women and only women.
Yeah, I remember you saying that, and I do have to say, like, it was a very odd scene. Like, you would argue that it's filler, but it doesn't really go on that long.
I mean, it was like, because if you got to count everything going on there, so you have to count the two kings making crib.
Okay,
you got to count that whole sequence of events. It's like all one thing, and that was like 10 minutes.
That's true, but I wasn't.
You're counting wrong.
I was counting the opening of the presents.
Yeah, I mean that was a little awkward, but then there was the baby picture thing, and it's like all of that. It's just weird. Like it's all.
But I do want to
for women so that they can fantasize about having a royal baby.
But I do want to state something that I thought was really, really good craftsmanship again on the part of this film. Mm-hmm. The king and queen of Panglia, were not expected to be there this long. They were expecting to sign the treaty and leave, but both they can't sign the treaty and the weather, so they've been stuck there. So they get invited to the baby shower, and I thought it was really neat that the queen made a present because they didn't have a present to bring.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, and I thought that was a neat little.
She made a thing, and the king played the piano, and it was
it was nice craftsmanship in the film. Mm-hmm. I do remember you wincing at the king playing his music.
I mean, it was fine. It's just like, oh, it's one of these scenes. Thankfully, they actually cut it real short because I thought they were going to play the whole song.
It would have been nice if they did.
Maybe it would have just been more padding.
Yeah, but
I mean, it's not as bad. It's true. It is a Christmas film. They could have done a little montage with the present stuff with the song overlaid. Mm-hmm. I mean, considering Love Lines had like 6 montages in it, yeah, they could have done that.
So we're just name dropping.
I was thinking about it after I saw it earlier today again. Not the movie, but the other thing. Yeah, and I just got angry. So I had to talk about it. I said to bring that up, and montages made me think about it. Mm-hmm. Everyone watch the Love Lines episode because you can just I hate that movie. I made a note here. Patrick hates the watches.
Oh, yes. So let's go into some watches. These people are no James Bond. James Bond, excellent taste in watches.
Right.
The kings of Aldovia and Panglia.
Go with it.
Both have terrible choices in watches. The king of And King of the Rhodesians kind of wears this weird, like, Seiko alpinist that's, like, not really an alpinist.
I just got a nod because I don't know what any of these things are.
A green-faced watch with big European hands. Okay.
Just keep going.
And then the King of Pinguini kind of has this really large, chunky, cheap-looking watch. Like, it's clearly a diver's watch.
To be fair, their country's probably in Russia now, so maybe that's the best they can do.
Maybe. Because, like, it's just bad. It's just bad. And then, as for the clocks around, I believe the clock at the end of the film, because, you know, they have to wait to the last minute, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. I don't believe it's even working.
I mean, the movie had noise. I think it's working.
Oh gosh, let's not even get into the noise. Wrong noise for that clock.
I don't think you have any real expertise in these kind of clocks, so I don't.
I have restored cheese clocks.
I've seen no receipts of that, so I think you're just mistaking it for a digital clock.
Anyway, my point is I disliked most of the clocks.
Oh, you also disliked the, you said wrong colored slippers? Now, I didn't see this, but you said...
Oh, yeah. So, the King of Aldovia gives his lovely wife, Amber, a pair of sneakers. Little baby shoe sneakers.
Oh, okay.
And they're little the wrong color.
That's true!
Yeah.
And they would have known!
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Not only...
Okay, yeah. All right.
And that I find really fascinating because, so let's go into this for a moment. In the ad for A Christmas Prince 3, The Royal Baby, which will be here, you will note that the little booties are red, just like Amber's shoes were in the first film.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, in the second film, she has like those sequiny ones.
Yeah.
Which, okay,
not
whatever.
To your taste.
Not to my taste.
No. Yeah, this is why Sahil would hate you.
They could do that color change fabric. You know that they do. It doesn't matter. Should have been the red sneakers because that's kind of like Amber's trademark is these red sneakers. So it definitely should have been that the little baby was going to have red sneakers too. Again, the art department clearly agreed with me. You see in the ad that they're little red booties. So why are they blue in the film?
That's a fascinating question. Please, sir, Mr. Nate, send us an email. Hit me up on Twitter. Send me a DM. I need to know. I want to know what was going down.
Yeah, is it supposed to be symbolic? Is it supposed to be a mislead as to the gender of the baby?
Maybe it could be a mislead. We have not talked about that yet, but
and they keep talking about blues and reds in
that's
the film.
True. They do.
Like, there's something
they talk
going
about blues
on
and
there.
reds. There's all this whole thing. When do we name a baby? You got to get the gender review party ready. What's the booties that we're gonna put on the explosion for when it goes and causes an avalanche, probably kills a bunch of people, just to do the stupid gender reveal party.
You're really into that right now.
There was an episode of Personal Injury Court last week that had it was someone who supposedly was injured at a gender reveal party, and they were suing the other people. Anyway,
well, just real quickly.
Also, that whole thing's just stupid.
For those of you listening in the future, over the last few months, there have been 3 really interesting gender reveal issues that happened. There was a plane that crashed and set fire to a bunch of stuff. There was the people that built the pipe bomb.
Yep, I remember that.
And there wasn't actually an avalanche.
Yep.
So,
wasn't there also a like a car that ran over some people or something? I like it was really bad. It was like a truck or something that was supposed to like roll a thing and ended up hitting a bunch of people. It was yeah, a lot of people doing really stupid things just to tell people you got a baby that's gonna have a certain genitalia. I just don't get it.
Yeah, so it's kind of in the pop culture zeitgeist right now that gender reveals are dangerous.
Dumbgeist.
That was a bad joke, Stephen.
Well, I'll synthesize it with its antithesis and make a better joke, just like Heigl would have wanted.
Anyway, so my point is I just want future listeners to know that that's what's going on in the moment.
Yes.
Back to you.
Well, then we get the town scene of them all out and hanging out in the town square. We get archery and ice skating. And it's really just fill scenes and callback scenes and stuff. There's really not any major important plot thing that happens, except that we get the start of Amber's labor troubles.
Well, that and the princess gets a kiss.
I didn't think that was crucial.
It is.
Do you want to talk about the 13-year-old getting her kiss? No. Is that something you brought up because you want to talk about that?
But that was the reason that they were there. That was the only plot point that really comes across.
They did put a lot of emphasis on it. There's a whole scene of because she's in, she can't skate because of her disability, but she's in a wheelchair, and her crush friend guy friend. I guess they can't call him boyfriend, but they're 13. I don't know if that's makes sense, but fine. He's pushing her around. They're having fun. Tom, that was his name. They're having fun, whatever, blah, blah. And there's a shot that's kind of weird of in slow motion of her spinning around and having fun while Amber's it's so good that you're out here. Look at this. It just make you forget all the troubles. And it's like a Suicide Squad style, slow-mo shot. And then, she gets a kiss, and I'm oh, isn't that nice, I guess. Even though they actually kissed in the other movies, that would have been the first kiss.
Oh, yeah, it really was, yeah. So there literally was no point to this.
No, not at all.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, they did in the other movie. So, yeah, that happens, and then they go back to the castle, because there's apparently still no flights out, and the Pingley wanted to leave, even though they hadn't signed the treaty, because the treaty was still missing. There's two things. It's a mess.
There's two things
at this point. Yeah.
One, why do you let anyone leave the castle when the...
This is a running thing throughout the entire movie. And part of its problem is that they have no guards, so there's no one here to keep people in. They just let people leave or whatever, even though they're still suspects. Yeah. It's just a mess. It is a complete cluster of an investigation.
And they do make the point that everyone is a suspect except for the king and queen.
Yes.
They make that very clear. Mm-hmm. But then anyway, the reason they're actually in the Christmas market is because the dog's searching the house.
Yes, that's the actual. There's a police dog, the canine unit, supposedly searching the house. But we never see this dog.
We do see the dog.
They never mention. No, we don't.
Yeah, we see the dog.
When they show the dog.
When they say, I've had one of these breeds when I was a boy. They have a very good sense of smell. And it's just a German Shepherd.
Oh.
And they show the guy that's clearly not a police officer walking it around.
That scene completely left my brain, but okay.
It's the excuse they use to go to the Christmas
market. I remember that part. I just didn't remember the actual dog in the scene. But
it's also how they set up that guy.
That's true. We'll get into that. So something that Amber does throughout this movie, because she's supposed to be I'm a journalist, I'm using my investigation brain, and she's doing some snooping and other stuff that's all mostly pointless. But she says she remembers something about a family called the Devon family that she thinks has something to do with the treaty missing, because hundreds of years ago they swore vengeance for some slight. I don't actually remember what they said it was. It doesn't even matter. So she's thinking about that. And then they set up the thing with the guy of oh, I got my little thing. And I think it was after she mentioned the Devon thing is where I did my shot call that it was the main dude servant who was in earlier. I'm that's the guy who's guilty. He did it.
They do actually mention the slight, but it's not important.
They do. They say specifically what it was, and I just don't remember, and who cares? What the emotion is what matters, because it's really that the core of a story. What are movies? Movies are mystery boxes, and look in the mystery box, and that's what you get. You get it's fun. It's a mystery box, and so that's.
Okay, do it.
Your face. I mean, what? I'm just saying, what are mystery boxes? That's what they are. Here's the thing.
What are mystery boxes?
Yeah.
What are birds?
What are
frogs?
What is life? Why do things happen? Why? Things that are what they are. And things that aren't cannot be.
I don't
mystery.
I don't know what you're referencing, but I really... We need to start bringing this into the visual medium. Steven's acting right there.
It wasn't so much acting as it was just
gesticulation
and some facial expressions. I channeled my inner Mussolini a little bit there. Not quite as hard of gestures, more fluid, but anyway.
Annie Hoozle.
Yeah, we can move on from that little exchange and talk about the movie, I guess. So they oh yeah, this is where I think oh yeah, that's right. Pilgonia, Peglia, socialist hell. Okay. For context, Amber is in labor. The doctor is on their way, but she crashed her car in a scene while the prince rode on a horse to go get her. I'm not quite sure why they had to do all that whole sequence, like bark for padding, but that's what happens. The queen of Peglia is helping Amber because she used to do some midwifing work. So she's helping her with some stuff through this process.
I kept expecting that to actually be a joke, both because of the actress's acting and the fact, like, her responses. How long did you work there? Many years.
It's a little awkward.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's
not.
But whatever. It doesn't matter. She's helping her do her thing. And she mentions that Peglia has many assistance programs for expectant mothers and women, so they all have care. And that's where I wrote socialist.
Now, one of my favorite...
let's start with this problem number one. And this is what's going to afflict Aldovia after its modernization problems. I'm just saying, you look at the trajectory of the United States. 1919, women can vote. It's all downhill from there. Only 3 years after that, Mussolini takes power, rise of fascism. As soon as women started getting political power, World War II, Cold War, nuclear threat. I'm just saying, the math people. We don't
get into politics on this channel.
I'm not getting into politics. I'm getting into reality.
We don't do that here. Oh my gosh. I'm not making a reference to that film, by the way.
What? I'm sorry?
Oh, I said we don't do that here. That's a meme reference.
I don't. It's Panther. Not hitting me. I never saw it. Okay, I never saw the movie. I didn't see the movie Black Panther because I don't care about Marvel movies.
Yeah, the CGI in the commercial looked too bad for me. Sorry.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen Avengers. I have not seen a single Avengers movie.
We might have to watch Iron Man 3 for this series.
I've seen Iron Man 1. I've seen Iron Man 1.
1, 2, or 3 is a Christmas film. I can't remember which.
What?
Iron Man 2 or 3. I can't remember which is a Christmas film.
That's nuts. Yeah. All right. I didn't expect that twist.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So, yes. And one of the things that I love, because it's just a subtle little thing, is Amber says to the queen of the Pinguini, yeah, I've read
You're racist. Go on.
Yeah.
Just like Rhodesia. Go on.
Yeah, I've read your reforms and whatnot. And I intend to implement those here too.
Yes.
With changes. Like, it's like a subtle dig.
It's almost like... Well, I think what she's just saying is that socialism with Pigali characteristics is not a proper fit for Aldovia. Aldovia is more interested in a kind of nationalistic brand of socialism, if you will. One that fits more of its heritage.
I wish you could see the look on Steven's face. Anyway,
we get a parlor room scene.
Yes.
Before the actual birth. We get all of the pieces coming together to find out who the culprit thief is.
Whoa.
Oh, you're right. I guess there was a crucial thing here I kind of glossed over, and I didn't intend to. It was in my brain before, but we got sidetracked.
Indeed. They actually go into the dungeon.
Yes, we were right. They go into the dungeon. And by they, we specifically mean probably the two worst characters to send to do this.
Why would you send those two?
They send the little princess, and they send her mother, the Dowager Queen, Helena, a.k.a. Borg Queen. They go into the dungeon to search on the request of Amber to go see what's down there. Now, they're terrified of a ghost of a prisoner that had been, well, I should say really the princess is scared that there could be a ghost down there from some prisoner hundreds of years ago who was locked in. Leopold.
No.
Shut up. I'm going with this. I don't care about the specifics. The movie didn't care, and I don't.
I care because the Leopold thing is a callback reference.
Oh, you're right. It is a callback.
Yeah.
That was Leopold, Lord Leopold, who was arrested from the second movie.
That's why I was very confused as to why he graffitied.
He more scratched it in there. You're right. I guess you're okay. Anyway, a thief hundreds of years ago was put in there.
200 years ago. Last time Aldovia had the thing. This lore is important, Stephen.
Yeah, okay. All right. So 200 years ago in this fictional history that Rhodesians created, a thief who was locked in there and died, apparently just starved. It's unclear.
In a very small dungeon.
Mm-hmm. The man with the iron mask was in the Aldovian dungeon. He died, and so his ghost haunts there, according to the head servant guy. He told the princess this story, a spooky story type thing, because they're all locked in and talking about the dungeon, blah, blah, blah. So they're scared there, but they're down there with a flashlight, and they're walking around. They go into the cell, and they see the Leopold was here from Lord Leopold, and but then a wind blows, and they get locked in. Oh, no! So then we get a scene later of them trying to escape, because they see the cell keys are over, and she's trying to use her crutches to get it, and she fails, but she falls over and hits I don't actually know what it was supposed to be. Something. It was apparently some kind of hollow
box,
like stone box. Yeah, it was styrofoam. I mean stone. Sorry, stone.
3 inches thick.
3 inches thick that breaks when she hits it and is physically unharmed despite the tremendous force this would require. And inside it are the treaty scrolls. So they found it. Yay! Someone hid it in the dungeon. Okay.
The deepest, darkest part of the dungeon, a whole 15 feet into it.
Yes. It's in there. It's nestled in there good. They pull it out. They get out of the thing because there's a escape path that they find, whatever.
They don't.
Well, they don't actually show them escaping. The queen just makes of, oh, the air's getting in. That means there's a way out. Oh. And then they get out. They get out off camera. It doesn't matter.
Aldovian engineering.
Yeah, apparently no one went to go check on them for hours either. It's just, who knows what was happening. It's just a mess. But they get out. Then there's the parlor scene where they put all of it together. By all of it, I mean really one clue. It's just one clue. Well, there's 2 clues. There's 2 clues about how we did it. Clue number 1, the Devon thing.
Yeah, and I don't actually think that was set up.
Not properly. It was not set properly. It was a usual suspect style twist where the twist is actually impossible to figure out.
Yeah.
Because they don't actually give you the information you need. It's just supposed to be oh, which I don't mind in Usual Suspects, but here it's just kind of oh, okay. So the head servant guy, who's been so friendly family of all of them, turns out I called it correctly. He is in fact the thief, and that he was part of the Devon family line through his mother. So that's why he was doing it, because he had to. He upholding the oath is how he claims it. Even though he likes them, he's like, I have to uphold this blood oath. And I didn't know about the curse. I'm so sorry. I wasn't trying to get you, baby harmed or whatever. Oh.
Yeah, I'm just trying to start a war.
Yeah, effectively. And then that's the other thing that they mentioned, that he was the only one around when the dog was doing its sniff. So he, just didn't take it into the dungeon. So that's why I couldn't find anything. I guess there was no smell leakage anywhere else.
Sniffing dogs.
Yeah. This dog had been trained to sniff for medieval manuscripts. It was very important that dog. That's why they call him the monk, because that's what he sniffs out.
Snap.
Yeah.
That's some pretty good lore.
Mm-hmm. It's just as good as anything else we come up with.
Well, anyway, and then eventually, the baby gets born.
Yes, so they've solved the problem. Oh, they signed the treaties, and including the queen's, because every other signature was the king's only. But now that Aldovia is embracing this modern thing of no, women are equal too, and then there's setup for this sprinkled in the movie, but Panglia was they say they're very traditional, but now they're like, you know what, we're gonna sign with our queen too, because girl power, equal rights, blah blah blah, that kind of deal. These are very strange countries, considering that the movie takes place canonically in 2019. Panglia is not as weird, just because it is Russia, apparently. But the Aldovia is a little harder to figure out in that. But they sign it before midnight, so the curse isn't going to take into effect. And right on Christmas Day, Amber gives birth to a little girl. Yay! Who's named
Elise?
No. I know the name, but I'm not going to say it right away because I want to get a couple things out of the way. First off, they did have a real baby for the baby, which is nice. And I appreciate that. It's not a weird CGI thing or they're using some doll and just trying to hide it. It was a real little cute little baby. However, that baby that they used was clearly like 2 months old.
Which, makes sense.
Which, I mean, that's the baby you gotta put in there. You can't actually use a real newborn. So they just had this like 2-month-old baby, maybe 3 months. A little chunky little baby. It was a cute little baby. The other thing is that Amber, who has apparently just given birth, still is like only slightly like sweaty, and all of her makeup looks great. And
she looks better in this film than the last film.
She does. They definitely did a better job on her makeup. But it's kind of just baffling to me that she could look that good after pushing a human being out of her vagina. I just don't see it happening.
It's supposed to be, like you said.
It's movie magic.
No, but it's like, it is exactly what you said earlier. It's wish fulfillment.
I mean, it fulfilled my wish of seeing a great movie.
You know what? I agree with you though. But more what I meant is like.
No, I know
said,
what you mean.
You can imagine.
I wanted to put my own Aldovian spin on
it. There are a couple things I want to note.
Well, I wasn't quite finished yet. Sorry.
Sorry.
So the scene I thought was going to be the end scene happened. The dad showed up. Hey, what's up, big buddy? I'm back from New York. I'm here to see my daughter, my grandchild. Oh, what's the name, sweetie? And they're like, name is Ellery. And she's like, after your mom, huh? That's so sweet. Now, I think it's perfectly fine to name a child after your parent or a loved one or whatever. That's fine. Ellery is a bad name. I'm just saying it. I don't like the name at all. I don't like the name Eleanor. I don't like the name Hillary. Ellery is even worse. Ugh. Gross name.
It really is an awful name, and I wonder why they chose it.
Yeah, because they never named her mom before in any of these movies that I recall. They could have done anything.
There's a reason. There has to be a reason. We need the background lore.
Nate, please DM me. Why did you choose that name? Is that a name of one of your loved ones? Because that's cool. If it is. If it is, that's fine. I'm not aspersions on them or on you. It's just like,
we want another reason.
What a weird name to pick for that. Anyway.
I hate to say it, but it would have been really obvious if the baby's name was something Christmas related.
Adolf? Oh, it's a girl. Sorry. Eva?
That's actually a very popular girl's name right now.
Eva itself is fine. It's when you add the second name in there, it's where it becomes a little problematic, if you know what I mean.
Again, we don't get political on this channel.
I'm not getting political. I'm getting historical. Eva is that name's okay. Like, I'm okay with that name. It's kind of cute.
But I was thinking
it's a little weird on
like
but
Snow.
Oh God.
Crystal.
Oh jeez, that would have been the worst. Actually, that would have actually been worse.
Bella.
Bella's okay because I like the name Isabella, so I've been okay with that. Angel's not good.
Star.
Shut up! Stop just saying nouns. Egg. Doll.
Fruitcake.
Snowman. Nicholas. Goose. Like what? I can look at stuff too. Timer. That would have been a great girl's name, huh? Timer.
Twinkle.
iPhone. Get some money from Apple when you name your kids. Put Shadow Man on your kid's grave. Get a free N64.
This review is going off the rails.
Shadow Man N64, great game. No, it's not. It's a terrible game, but great advertising campaign.
Wait a second. You know what this film had that none of the previous films had?
What's that?
A death tunnel.
It had a death tunnel. I was trying to figure out how to work death tunnel in there, but you got there first. It had a death tunnel. That's crazy. Oh, I hate death tunnel so much, and you love it so much. Just the worst.
Did we ever watch it together?
No. We talked about that before. We have not. You watched it with someone else, and then you made your thing about it.
I know.
That's one of the worst movies I've ever seen play on cable television.
It still blows my mind.
Can't say that I've ever watched, but on cable television for sure. Because they used to play it on the Sci-Fi Channel like 3 times a day.
Are you serious? That actually got real play?
That's how I saw it. I saw it on the Sci-Fi Channel. We can have a discussion about Death Tunnel another episode, but yes, it was on. I don't want
to. All right, Steven, we need to wrap this up.
So she gave birth to a little baby, and the dad is being on New York, and there's the gender reveal party. It kills 4 people, and there's a massacre, it's an archery accident, and then
we get not what happens. Steven.
You know what? I made it better, and then we just get the last thing is just her writing her blog, her dumb, stupid blog with the little baby over there next to her, and she's like, "Hey, look at my baby, everybody! Isn't that great?" Oh yeah, and then they show him off to the whole town, the whole country comes out to oppress her, and they're like, "Look at our baby," and they're like, "Yay!" And that's it. And then the movie ends, and it ends with a little Christmas jingle as credits roll, and we see a montage of pictures of all the characters in the immediate aftermath. It's like, oh, it's them hanging out with their baby, and these two. Oh yeah, in the parlor scene also, Simon proposed to Melissa. That's the thing that happened.
That's how unimportant that was.
Yeah, that's the thing that happened. There was a nice push zoom on her when she said yes, but that was the only interesting thing about it. Anyway, so they get a montage of them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I got the ring," and all these people, and we get the guy in a jumpsuit, a prison jumpsuit.
Simon got a duke.
Oh yeah, he was made a duke of nothing. They don't actually say what. He's just, "How about a duke?" And he's like, "Okay," and then nothing. Duke of Moldavia, Duke of Austria, Duke of Duke's Burgers. I don't know. There's just nothing. I wish I could just be a duke with no actual attachment.
Fair enough.
I'm just like, I'm Duke. I'm a Duke. Now, I don't want the name Duke. Duke is a bad name. Don't name your kids Duke. Don't name your pets Duke either. It's not a pretty word. It doesn't really flow well. Duke. Just no. Don't do it. Name him something better, like Ellery.
The sincerity with which you said that. All right, I think that's a good place to wrap up.
Yeah, I think we can wrap it off.
Any final thoughts?
Watch the Christmas Prince movies.
Agreed. Seriously, Netflix hit a home run with these
King
films.
Dick.
Until next time,
Bye-bye.
dear listeners, see you out there.